All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give our praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash.
double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone that taught us his truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe, and the elect begins with 144,000. Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jehovah, Bahashem is in the name. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the Rakakwa Dr. Chis, the Holy Spirit. Honor brother Ivan Lumby joined with
The brother Asa.
and we come back at you, brothers and sisters of the household of faith, of the hopeful righteous elect, with another lesson. And Lord, when we hope this lesson be edifying. We're gonna entitle this lesson. You can't be slothful or you can't be lazy. When doing the work of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You can't be lazy or you can't be slothful. Because ultimately, if you're lazy or you're slothful, man, the Lord will ultimately get rid of you, man.
That's right.
You lazy, you ain't do a video in 3 months. You ain't come to camp. Because ultimately laziness, slothfulness, it will keep you stagnant. So you ultimately always have to keep working. In the work, doing the work. Doing your videos, putting up your precept for the days, going to class. Basically making yourself useful. So, but this is the book of 2 Peter 1:10. It says, "Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if you do these things, you shall never fall." Right? How do you give diligence? You're constantly working. You're constantly, doing the things that's pleasing unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai. A slothful or lazy individual will not be diligent. Every single one of us, that has a channel, that knows the name Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's able body. That knows, that's knowledgeable about the scriptures, in the doctrine.
That's right.
You're supposed to be teaching. You're supposed to be putting up your lessons. You can't be slothful when it comes to these things. You can't be lazy when it comes to these things. You have to be diligent.
Okay.
That's why the scriptures say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Where, being lazy, being slothful, hey, like I said before, the Lord will ultimately get rid of you, man. But you can grab that Proverbs 13:4.
All right, Proverbs 13:4. And it reads, "The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat."
Right, you will see with a lazy individual. The lazy individual, he ain't do no work all day. He ain't do nothing. Slept in the bed all day, but he wants something, but didn't work for it. You can read that next part.
Proverbs 13:5 reads, "A righteous man hateth lying." But
in the same verse, just the letter half.
All right. I'll start over with Proverbs 13:4. "The soul of the sluggard desireth and hateth nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat."
Right, a person that's working, the person that's ultimately, talking about us, us putting up our videos, us, staying diligent in the work. It says what? It says the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. We're going to give all, basically our works. The Lord is going to reward us for our works. Us being diligent. The Lord is going to reward us. The Lord is not going to reward a slothful individual, a lazy person that didn't do shit, all day. They didn't make a video, they didn't make a video in 3 weeks. That didn't come to class. That didn't come to camp. A lazy individual, a slothful individual, that's basically not making themselves useful. We ultimately have to be found working, man. The Lord wants workers. What's the scripture that says, the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. We have to work, man. The Lord called us in to work. We have to constantly feed the flock, and that's what? With working, being diligent.
That's right. That's right. It's a constant effort. Yes, sir.
This is the book of Proverbs 6:6. This is the book of Proverbs 6:6. It says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise." Yeah, because ultimately nature can teach a thing or two, about certain things.
That's right.
You can learn from nature, but this is the book of Proverbs 6:6. I'm going to read this again. It says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler," it says, provided her meat in the summer and gathered her food in the harvest. It says, "How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep?" Right? Because you know, if you understand anything about it, hey, you know, they're always moving, they're always working, you know, storing up food, you know, always looking around, storing up food. Basically, what moving from place to place, working, you know, to basically, you know, get that food back to their colony. You know, we have to be the same way, man. Constantly working, putting up our videos, you know, studying, you know, coming to camp, coming to class. You know, just like us, man, we're gonna have to constantly be moving, you know, doing the work of Yahweh Shai. You know, we can't be stagnant, we can't be lazy, we can't be slothful. It says, verse 10, it says, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. And that's how Satan ultimately give you. You know, you're stagnant, you didn't do nothing all day, you ain't make a video. Ultimately, Satan used that to basically bring you down, man.
That's right.
You know, a lazy individual, a sluggard, the Lord is not dealing with, man. You know, because what are you good for?
That's right.
You know, if you're not producing, if you're not feeding the flock, what ultimately are you good for, man? Ultimately, the Lord will raise up somebody else, and He'll give the work to somebody else to work. You know, because what the Lord is looking for workers, laborers, man. You know.
That's right, brother.
Anything to add, brother?
Now I can go with Hebrews 4 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
And Hebrews 4 and 11 reads, let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. You have to get, as you've already stated, you have to keep putting in the work to get the benefits that come with it. The Lord will guide you, protect you through your own examples. And that example is, again, of what you're putting in, not as the scripture says of the unbelief. Because if you don't believe in what Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is doing in these times of, prophecy, that, you're a lost soul. So prepare to feel that heat, prepare to feel that radiation, prepare for the ICBM missile fire.
Hey, that's what's coming to a lazy or slothful servant, man.
That's right, brother.
You know, the Lord is going to cast your ass away, you know? And it says, let us labor therefore to enter into that rest. Hey, we're working for our crowns, man. The Lord is not going to give a crown to a lazy nigga. You know, we're working for our crowns. As it says, you know, labor therefore to enter into that rest. You know, we have to work, man. You know, because like a lazy individual, right? They always think they owe something. You know, sleeping in the bed all damn day. You know, scratching your ass. You know, these same individuals think they deserve something. Think they they desire something, but they haven't worked for it. You know, the Lord is only going to reward those that's diligent in His work, man. You know, that's constantly week in, week out. You know, constantly putting up videos, constantly coming to camp. You know, doing these different things that's pleasing unto Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord is not going to reward a sluggard or a lazy individual, man.
And that's one thing Jake has learned through Section 8 and Link, that I'll be fed and I'll have a roof over my head. And decade after decade, certain things was designed to help you to get on your feet and let Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai take it from there, because everybody needs a little help. But to abuse it and to live off this man's system and to think he's always going to be there for you, that's that slothness. That's that, that sluggard that you think that because of your unbeliefs, things will continue to work out for you. And, here comes the punishment. So you reap what you sow with that.
Let me grab this. This is this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, better known as Sirach 33 and 27. It says, send him to labor that he be not idle. It says, for idleness teaches much evil. Why you not doing nothing, you being lazy, it's ultimately, Satan will ultimately mess with you, man. That's why you have to constantly be moving. Especially doing the work of Yahweh Shai, man. You have to constantly be moving, in this work, man. Hey, studying is a big part too, to actually grow in this thing. You can't be lazy when it comes to your duties.
That's
you can't
right.
be a sluggard when it comes to your duties, in this work concerning Yahweh Shai and the flock, man.
That's
you
right,
have to
bro.
feed the flock. The flock is always looking out when you go post your next lesson. When you're going to speak on certain things. They have questions to you. You can't be slothful. You can't be lazy when it comes to things like that, man.
God, brother.
So I'm going to read this again. Sirach 33 and 27 says, send him to labor. Labor meaning what? To work. Send him to labor that he be not idle. For idleness, laziness teaches much evil. You're not doing nothing all day. You're not being productive. it's ultimately gonna, Satan is gonna mess with you. You're gonna do, you're ultimately gonna, wind up in a situation that, you don't want to be in. You know, that's why you have to always constantly be working, man. You know, putting your hand to the plow. Hey, doing things that's pleasing to you. How about Shimmy Shot? Things of that nature, man. I always found work.
That's right.
You know, you grab that that Ecclesiastes 10 and 18.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 18 reads, by much slothfulness the building of decayeth, and through idleness of the hands that the house droppeth through.
Yeah, just like us, man. You see, like for example, right? You'll have, like construction worker, right? They always have to build that. They can't be lazy when it comes to, building up a house. You have to constantly build up that foundation. You have to constantly strengthen it. Day in, day out. Well, ultimately, as the scripture says, it will ultimately decay. Just like us, man. Hey, if we're lazy, if we're not putting up our videos, if we're not going to camp, if we're not studying, it's just like us, man. We're ultimately we'll ultimately decay, man. In the spirit, in the mind, you'll get weaker and weaker when it comes to the doctrine, and that all comes from being lazy, being idle, being slothful. It's just the same thing with us, man. We have to constantly be found working, because if we don't work, ultimately, read this again, brother.
All right, Ecclesiastes 10 and 18 reads, by much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through.
Man, just like us, man, we have to constantly be found working, because if we don't, man, hey, just like, I'm gonna give you an example. An individual that hasn't studied for about 3 weeks, or that hasn't went over with something for a long time, lazy of reading, the scriptures and things like that, you will forget a lot of things. You'll start becoming it's a word for it. You will start to forget things. That's not the word I'm looking for, but ultimately you'll start to forget things. A certain breakdown that you understood, a minute ago, it's going to start to slip away from you, because you're not, studying it, going over in it, you being lazy to go over certain things. You're ultimately going to forget, a lot of the things that you were taught. That's why we can't be lazy. That's why we can't be slothful, man.
That's right, brother.
But we got one more. You want to read that Romans 12 and 11? I'll break it down.
All right. Romans 12 and 11 reads, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Right, not slothful in business, right? Because when we come into this truth, when we come to work, hey, we can't be slothful when it comes to these things. Putting up, like I'm gonna keep saying it, putting up our lessons, putting up our videos, coming to camp, coming to class, studying, reading. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, right? You got to be hot for this thing.
Man, excited.
You got to be excited to put up that next lesson, man. Because when you're hot in the truth, you're going to be diligent. Both of those go hand in hand. Being diligent and being hot for the truth, you don't want to do these things. You're going to constantly do these things, man. You're going to constantly be found working. You're going to constantly be diligent. You being hot for the truth, you being fervent, you being on fire. You're going to be excited to do these things.
That's right.
So it's going to come naturally that way. You're going to keep working. You're going to be found doing these different things that I have coming to class, doing your lessons, things of that nature, serving the Lord. And these are the things Yahweh Shem Yahushai expect of us, man. The Lord wants us to be found working, especially when it comes to the flock, feeding the flock, and ultimately, you're producing, the works, like I said, your videos, coming to camp, you're ultimately producing. But you can't be slothful in this thing, man. That's the point. You can't be lazy. You have to be diligent. But you had anything else about
man? And as you say that word slothful, if you are slothful in this, then you're not realizing that this place is circling the drain. And if you don't realize it's circling the drain, you're going to do what's being expected of you, which again defines who you are. You're part of the 2/3. The shepherd, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is not leading you to get through what's to come. You're allowing yourself to be led by a false entity that doesn't have your best interests at heart. And again, that radiation, that heat, that ICBM missile fire is what you can expect and you literally not knowing. But again, as been said, you reap what you sow, what goes around comes around. So, not being in tune with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man, that's your slothfulness, and your punishment is to come.
And just like I said, that scripture, the harvest is plenty, but laborers are few. The Lord wants workers, man. The Lord doesn't want, a person that's on his ass all day, sleeping for 25 hours. It ain't 20, I said 25 hours.
Man.
24 hours, whatever the case may be, man. You on your ass all day. Not producing.
Man.
The Lord wants you to produce. And that's what we have to do, man. We have to be fervent, and we have to be found working, and we have to be diligent. So with that being said, we hope this lesson was edifying. We'll end up right now. Praise and glory too.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kakradas.
That won't honor the elders and the apostles of great millstone and taught us the truth and citations to the oath of light that's around the 4 corners of the globe. Lord, when we hope this lesson was edifying, to next time, Kwame Yasharala and Ababa Ball.
Shalom.